Good morning, everybody. Hope y'all are doing good today. This is Saturday, March the 25th. I was kind of up late last night because I was watching some of those videos of those awful tornadoes in Mississippi. Terrible damage and loss of life. It was sad. I said I stayed up and watched Brian Hall, y'all. I think in some of his storm chasers. It was terrible. Let me show you my shirt. I've had this shirt for a while. Can you read it? Hanging with my Hens. You guys are part of my group? Look here. Had a friend made this shirt for me. There's a little red hen. There's another little red hen. Here at Rita's Roost. I'm going to tell you a story this morning. The tornadoes kind of got me thinking about a story my daddy told. My daddy's in heaven now, so I can't ask him any more questions about it. So it's just what I remember him telling. So I'm going to tell it. But when he was a boy, he was about 16. His home where he lived with his brothers and parents was destroyed by a tornado. But it was a day in April. It was April 1945. And him and his a little bit older brother had went fishing, and they'd rode their horses over to a little old creek, Greenbrier Creek, and were fishing. And I don't know if they caught any fish, can't remember none of the details. But while they were there fishing, the skies got to getting the dark greeny color, and this was probably before there was all those tornado sirens and warnings, and there wasn't much way to know when a storm was coming. But there they was on their horses over on the creek fishing, and they could tell the storm was coming. So they jumped on their horses and was riding home, and they could tell the storm was getting closer and closer. And Daddy said, look, they were coming by a little church that had a concrete block building, and Daddy told his brother Glenn, said, let's stop here at this little church and let this cloud go on over. And Glenn said, no, we better go on home. So they kept on riding and rode on home. And the storm come, and they just barely got back to home and in the cellar, and the tornado come and wiped their home and everything away. And the little rock building that Daddy wanted to take shelter in, it was gone too when all the damage was when they found out all the other damage. But he'd tell us kids about that storm. They were down in the cellar, and you could just this old cellar, I think, might have had a building over the top of it, and it just sucked all that stuff off down, and there was kind of a little slope behind it, and everything was just gone. I remember Grandma used to talk about you could hear people out in the fields hollering, help, help. But can you just imagine, though, if a storm had come through and blowed everything away? And there was a big old tree in the yard, and Daddy said it had a blue jay nest in it, but it killed that mama bird and destroyed that nest in that tree when it blowed the tree down. So, Tornadoes are bad, and you need to learn to respect the weather. And if you know it's going to be bad, you better know what you're going to do and how you're going to do the best you can to protect yourself from it. Ever since we were little bitty kids, I'm in my 60s, and I know every time it would get stormy and come up a cloud, my mama used to tell me, better get your shoes on, better get your shoes on. Now, we didn't know nothing about helmets and all that stuff, but it was always put your shoes on. Because Mama had a Aunt Mary that had got picked up in maybe that same storm, I'm not sure, but she'd always, you need to have your shoes on, because when all those nails and boards and everything's all, and you have to walk out, you need your shoes on. So I said, since I was a kid, put your shoes on if it's coming up a storm. If you see even a thunderstorm warning, put your shoes on. I know. That's a childhood memory. Put your shoes on. And nowadays, you always hear that on the TV weather people. They'll tell you to put your shoes on. Well, I don't have much to tell you this morning. there's been a few little old not bad tornadoes, but I've been through, never seen a tornado, but I've had some come through that have blown down trees and messed up barns and did stuff like that, but I've never seen one. I always see the damage afterwards, but not there's a fly. Flies are already out. All right. Enough about storms. Anyway, prayers for Mississippi and all the damage down there. And this is just the beginning of tornado season here. So I just pray that no one gets hurt and we all make it. I'll make it through all the storms of life. Life is just full of storms, and it's always the wind blows, but sometimes it blows hard, but we're still standing, and maybe it won't blow us away. Got to put our faith in the ones that can carry us through the storms. All right, I'm going to go. Love y'all. Bye.